And that's like a core energy of what we do. It's also one of 4 energies and many other. And I see Mr. Adam Gugino actually, and like Adam's always fun energy. So Adam, like what's going on? What's happening? And like, what say you on this fun Friday? Like what's fun for Adam?
Well, good morning. And I do want to save my fun Friday poll till Sean gets here, if that's cool. But what is fun for me on Fun Friday is looking forward to a evening of pickleball on Friday night for sure.
Pickleball.
Yes.
Deepak, what say you on pickleball?
I have no idea what pickleball is. So like I'm picturing like a tennis racket and like whacking around a dill pickle at each other. Like that's what I'm thinking pickleball is.
So Andy Zapata, do you believe that pickleball is throwing or hitting pickles at other people?
I've never heard of pickleball in my life, but I'm with Deepak. I imagine like a small racket and like a small ball or something. I have no idea what it is.
It's the fastest growing sport in the United States.
I'm going to have to Google that.
This is absolutely hilarious. Adam Gugino, you are like the pro in the movement right now. The rest of the movement is looking at you like, why do you have a sweatband on your forearm playing pickleball? And like people think it's throwing pickles at each other. So thank you, for that.
Sure. I mean, Fernando, I wear it almost every day now. I wear them because it just reminds me of the fun that I know that I will have at some point that day or the next day. And it just, yeah, that's why I wear it now. Different colors, and it's just my style now. So thank you for pointing it out every time you see it.
I love it. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful fun fact. That is like what self-mastery looks like. And everyone, thank you for staying in and dropping in with us as we're not here to like talk about pickleball. And, thank you everyone for like looking at Adam, thinking of wristbands, thinking of pickleball. It's fun. It's Fun Friday. And we have a formula and we drop in and we talk about different processes. And we also have a good time. Sean gets like hit by sharks. Adam, loses and wins duos with Ken Van Loo. And there's like of pickleball, by the way, they play together. That's a different story for a different day. So it's a beautiful place and a beautiful time. And Deepak, share with us this. You've had quite a week here at Unblinded, quite a week, and super grateful for you and for everyone here. How would you encapsulate your experience with Unblinded, just with yourself, with life this past week?
Wow, that's a tough one to encapsulate all of it. I guess in one sentence, I would say my future, not only emotionally, financially, fun experience, all of that has completely changed since the event we had in January. And it's all due to the formula, to Sean, to you, to Adam, the entire Unblinded movement. It has shifted my life dramatically in such a positive way. I can't, like, honestly, like my eyes start to tear up. Like, I can't thank you guys enough.
Feeling that, brother. And thank you, because you're an absolute warrior and an example of, beyond the formula, just humanity plus the formula, what it's capable of, creating in this world. It's exciting to hear that it's money, time, and magic, because magic's the most important. We talk a lot about, money and time. Really, it's the magic. And tears in your eyes, brother, brings feelings like within my heart. So thank you so much for sharing that. That is a big one to encapsulate.
Deepak, I just want to say you were my mom's partner at that event. And I also want to say to you that acknowledgement means so much. When I think about, I bring it up, but I think it's important now. When I think about walking away from the previous position and all of the financial freedom that was there. What you just said is the exact reason and the priceless part of what we're doing. So thank you for that acknowledgement, because it is the reason that I'm here personally and the mission that I'm on.
Well, to be truly honest, Adam, it was your singular question that changed the trajectory. And that question was, what is the worst thing that could happen if you said yes today? And it's a two-part question. And the second part was, what's the best thing that could happen if you said yes today? And like, I just pictured my future, and I'm like, man, I can picture a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of amazing things. And like, there's nothing to lose. Like the risk was so small. So you minimize the risk so small, and you allowed me to create a vision of the future, which was just so compelling. So like, it was a beautiful question. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you again. And I also want to point to my fellow friend and partner, Fernando, because that was one of those moments that we, back when we were to work side by side and really, talk about each of our calls and our experiences, where Fernando articulated that line after a call. And I remember immediately it resonated, and saying, wow, that is unbelievable how powerful it was. And it became part of our unblinded language. And it just, and it's still part of the language. It's still something that is said consistently. And I remember when I said it to you, the chills, the goosebumps, because of your, being unblinded so much with that statement. And I'll never forget it. So thank you again, and over for the acknowledgement, and for everything you do for us, for the movement. You truly are just an incredible soul.
Thank you, brother.
Virtual knuckle touch. Virtual knuckle touch to all of you. Andy Zapata coming in. Sean loves like the story. You doing like parties, 1,000 people in the backyard. Now like crushing it in Florida. Like now, like literally now, there's like a double language therapy. Now he's Mr. Now. Everyone welcome Mr. Now. Like
good morning, everyone.
And like, what's happening? Like, how's your experience with Unblinded been thus far?
Oh my God! So I've been trying to put this into words, and it's it was challenging, but it's everything that like Deepak was saying, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the best thing that can happen? It's the best thing that can ever happen to us, because even though we know we have to do things, I've always known how to build relationships. I just didn't know the process. It's like I said yesterday to one of my colleagues, I said, you know that the car will get you from A to Z, but you have no idea how the engine works, right? So this is how the engine works. The unblinded formula is the engine to building relationships. It is the science, it is the mechanism, it is the process by which the engine is built. And so that's the best way that I can explain it. So if you really want to understand how to drive a NASCAR, right? There's nobody that drives a NASCAR without understanding how the engine works. And if you want to build relationships as fast as a NASCAR, at that speed, at that turbo, at that velocity, then you need to know how the engine works. And this is how the engine works. This is the formula, the unblinded. That's the best way I can explain it.
That's awesome, Andy. And by the way, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you, everybody. Happy Fun Friday. Good morning. Just awesome things happening. It's your very point, Andy. The conversations I've been on since 5:30 this morning have all been rooted in acknowledging the progress of people's understanding in the mastery programs, in the movement overall, of the power of ecosystem merging, what it actually is. And you are so effective. And that's how you built your thing. Like Andy in 2 seconds was like, wait a minute, Sean, you would like, if I filled the room up with lawyers, like we could do something and talk to those people. Like you got it in 2 seconds. And that's an ecosystem merger. I could leverage Sean, like Andy thought I can leverage Sean's influencing, communication, speaking skill set to cross edify and social proof me, to give an amazing experience to people that are in these rooms. And that's just going to lead to more ecosystem mergers, AKA referrals from me. Isn't that kind of what you thought, Andy, or pretty much exactly what you thought?
100%. If I can give something to the attorneys that they want and they need, and I'm just the stage that puts it together, and I give somebody else a microphone, whether it's me or somebody else, but they get something because I put it together, then I look like a superhero for making this happen, and I get tons of referrals.
And it is you with the microphone as well. So you're doing your magic, I'm doing my magic, right? And it's how this works. And so I think the critical understanding for people, that if we could have a beautiful takeaway, is the intensely unique distinction of a conversation about doing something is not an ecosystem merger. A friendship is not an ecosystem merger. Having something in common and loving a common book, going to the same seminars, going to a meditation retreat together, none of those things are ecosystem mergers. They're all things that could lead to an ecosystem merger, but you do not have an ecosystem merger and the fun and the blessing, the benefit and the flow from an ecosystem merger until there's a date and an agreement to create access to a mutual group of people. That's when you have an ecosystem merger, right? So if Andy and I have a date and there's lawyers and doctors or whatever the group is coming to a webinar, a room, an event, a thing together, it is in that moment we've merged ecosystems. And it's a thing, right? Now, the degree of friction we can have in that ecosystem merger varies, right? And the variance is all rooted on, are we agreeing to do it a whole bunch of times? Is everybody going to have the ability to say whatever they want? Like, can Andy promote and sell race cars, right? Can I get up and talk about, the fact that I own part of a financial company? Like, what is it that we're agreeing that we can do and not do? So what's the friction is a different question, but it doesn't become an ecosystem merger unless there's a date, there's a thing, there's mutual accountability, and those things happening. So Andy, you agree? Makes sense?
100%, Sean. That's exactly what an ecosystem merger is.
Yeah, awesome. So as we look forward to everything else that we're doing going forward, right? What are you most excited about as you look out and you're building your stuff? What are you most excited about?
Just being able to expand my entire organization by teaching my staff and my marketers, my business developers on how to do this so that not only I can work on ecosystem mergers and maybe have 10, 20, 15, or maybe even 30 real raw opens where I'm meeting hundreds of people in 1 month, but so is my marketers. So now we're meeting thousands of people every month and merging thousands of ecosystems. This can exponentially grow my business instantly. And that's what I saw when you first talked about that. I said, well, if I can teach this to all my staff and they learn it, and which they're capturing it, they're having so much fun. They're all starting to, in September, I have 5 business developers. They're all ready to roll in September with their own real raws. And so I'm just picturing, just massive business meetings and business growth for me in September.
No, it's awesome, brother. And here's the output of all that, right? On this Fun Friday, the massive output from all that, about all that, right, is I had the privilege this week of taking the pain, the tears, right? The tears of taking my son and my daughter to college. My son on Monday, my daughter on Thursday, yesterday. And driving, by the way, about 1,400 miles this week. The amazing John Kelly driving 1,700 miles because he had to come pick me up and do other things as well. And doing all the other stuff we're doing, right? And when I hugged my daughter and said goodbye yesterday, with tears pouring down both of our faces, I thought about all the moments. And I thought about all the games I didn't miss. I thought about her being a certified scuba diver. I thought about her friends becoming certified scuba divers, my son's friends becoming certified scuba divers, people in our family becoming certified scuba divers. I thought about skiing in blizzards and black diamonds and her being 5 years old and going down double blacks in Utah for my 40th birthday. And well, when I was 40, she was, I guess, 7 at that point. But at 5, she was, a couple years before. All of these unbelievable moments we spent together, I thought of, it being a Tuesday at 3:00 and every day going to private soccer lessons with Coach Roberto, the soccer coach, Roberto Furman, unbelievable impact on my daughter's life. And all these moments, I thought about the amazing Ziggy, Jay Levine's father-in-law, that was saving soccer shots from Courtney and was at hundreds of private sessions and games together. And we traveled all over the place. And I thought, I want to give this to people. Like, that's what this is. Because more money and less time with more magic equals all those experiences. And taking them to school every single day. And as you look at and experience what's happening in Blinded right now, I go, my God, I don't want to, like Sean's life. The dude's working like 14, 15, 16 hours a day. Who wants that? Well, I'm doing that now because this is a mission. I wasn't doing that forever. My day looked like take my kids to school, be able to financially do anything I wanted. I didn't own a private jet, but anything else I wanted, I could do. I had the absolute freedom to hire the greatest soccer coach privately, the greatest trainers for my son in baseball, and to practice with them myself and be at every single session. And Roberto would be like, Sean, come here. Look how Courtney's foot like does this. Like the laces. Do you see the laces on the ball? Do you see that? Do you see the curve? Nobody can do that, Sean. Courtney can, right? And for her to be 11 and have the moment of Ziggy and I jumping up and down, crying, hugging each other as Courtney scores the winning goal at a regional tournament, beating a team from Maryland to win the championship, putting a ball in from 30 yards out on a direct kick when she's 11 years old. Her scoring on a corner kick at Montclair and scoring 6 goals on the Montclair State University soccer field and scoring on a college field as a 10-year-old on a corner kick. That's what I was thinking about yesterday. And I missed nothing. And I missed nothing because of the formula, right? I missed nothing. My life wasn't perfect. I made plenty of mistakes as a dad, maybe being too intense at times, not mad with her, but just like, come on, Courtney, and I had to learn, right? So this is not about me being perfect at all. It's about the perfection of formula because it helped me learn to optimize different moments, different things. No perfection, but freedom. Freedom sometimes I squandered. Freedom sometimes I used optimally, but freedom. And so when I dropped my little girl off at college, I may have regretted certain moments, certain decisions, but I never regretted ecosystem merging, speaking engagements, sales meetings, and sales. I never regretted Hello to Yes. I never regretted 4 steps, 10 indispensable elements, and 4 energies. I never regretted opening Awaken the Giant Within. I never regretted buying Jay Abraham's $500 book a little while later when I ended up on a marketing list for Tony. I never regretted buying How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking and buying for $1 at a garage sale with my grandmother. Because the fun and magic it brought me, including sitting at this very table right now with Gina and Tiffany and Mike and Mona, like sitting around the table.
Hello.
Hey guys, right? Hello guys, right? None of that happens. None of that happens without the formula and learning these things. And on this Fun Friday, I will remind everybody of something I've said recently, right? I have said to people so many times, and maybe you haven't heard it yet, when I first read Awaken the Giant Within, and I finished it on a trip to California when I went to a Jerry Spence seminar, and I read his book, How to Argue and Win Every Time. And some of the influence of storytelling and heroic unique identity, these weren't his words at all, but some of the dynamics of like Jerry's teaching about influence and his mastery of it is rooted foundationally in me. And I read these 2 geniuses' work, Tony's and Jerry's, at the same time, flying back. And I wrote letters to my best friends. I wrote letters to my family members, probably wrote about 10 letters, handwritten, saying, like, I just discovered the fountain of youth. I just discovered fire. I just discovered something that is so impossible to believe, but I'm going to try all this. I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to build a law firm. I'm going to see if all this works. I'm telling you it does. Come join me. Not like work with me, but do this with me. Read this book. It's unbelievable what it will create. Like, I know it. It's speaking to our heart and soul. It's like what our coaches in football told us about, like, this is how it translates to business. This is language of why we were not born to be wild. Like, we're screaming, going fired up. Like, it was physiology. It's what we were doing. It's why in the huddle, Tom Flatico, you would say to me, Sean, get him going. Because I knew how to do that, right? And you know how to do other things. Like, you're a manager leader, right? Like all of these things fit and make sense. And so many of my friends just like, were like, you're going to like a Tony Robbins seminar, dude? Like, what are you doing? Like, really? And I love them. I don't judge them. And they're my friends to this day. And they were at my 50th birthday, a bunch of them. But it was like, yeah, like, whatever. Like, it's kind of weird. No thanks. And so, Andy, when somebody like yourself gets it, and I don't mean understands intellectually, but just says, yeah, of course, right? I feel we are kindred spirits, because that's how I felt when I read Awaken the Giant Within. I just knew, right? I just knew. So thank you, because I feel seen, heard, and understood by you and by so many of you. But thank you. Do you receive that from me, really? From my
100%. 100%, Sean. I mean, I got it right away. I see what you're saying about that book that you read. But the minute you talked about it, from when I was a child and I started doing these parties, that I understood that, you know, if you wanted to get something, you needed to gather people. And what I started doing was same thing, ecosystem merging. I used to call it network mergers. Yeah. And I used to just ask people, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And they would do it. And it's the same thing that we're doing now with ecosystem mergers.
And I bet you, brother, you made a lot of mistakes along the way. Yeah, a lot of things not go the way you wanted to. But net, you're in a place that is beautiful and incredible. And you're in a place where you can go from beautiful, incredible to massive expansion, contribution, connection, love to dramatically higher levels because of what you've already created. Make sense? So Andy,
100%, Sean.
Yeah. So any final from you as we take it home on Fun Friday?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people just get nervous with this. Even my own staff was like, Andy, what is this? And I just said, just try it. You know, you're going to make mistakes. It's okay. We love you for those mistakes, but I promise you, you're going to see some clarity at the end of the real raw. And then they try it and then they love it. And then they say, whoa, you know, I got another doctor. I got another attorney. I just got another recommendation. And just by itself, it's growing organically. And then you just see the smile on their face, like saying, Andy, you're a genius. And I said, no. This is the unblinded formula. Go join the group, please.
Brother, you are a genius, though, because you saw it and you acted. And all I did is see and act and integrate and implement what so many geniuses taught me as well. And that's all we're doing here, right? So, Andy, thank you. Love you, brother. Great job. And
hey, Sean, can I add one thing to what Andy just said?
Yeah, Deepak, please, brother.
All of the growth that we all are experiencing is because we said yes to something.
Let that land. And Deepak, in case people are not translating that, I heard across this room. I'm sure on the huddle, right? So, by the way, I like doing this with a live audience. Like, I need this more. Right? This is fun, right? So, yeah, it feels good. So, what do you mean by that? I know what you mean, but for those that are like, what do you like? Yeah, I kind of think I get it.
Just think about any incredible experience that you've ever had. My hallucination is because you said yes to something. Yeah. Every large piece of growth, every breakthrough that you've had is probably because you said yes.
Yeah. And then people may go, Deepak, Well, I said yes to some things I don't think I should have. And that's true. But if we don't say, and we got to get better at not saying yes to things we shouldn't. Yeah. But if we don't say yes, nothing happens. And Deepak, just I want to honor you and what you're up to. You've been sharing so many beautiful things. You've created something real quickly. Please share with people what it is, because you're solving for a beautiful challenge and a distinction of all of this, of the creation of ecosystem mergers and relationships and things and energy. So if you're like Andy and you're like others here and you're making things happen, it's like, oh my God, like, what do I do to like you're solving for that problem. So what are you up to?
Yeah, and the easiest way for me to talk about what I do is to ask a question. And the first question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how effective are you and your company at consistently following up with your leads? On a scale of 1 to 10.
I would rate me and my organization at Calgary Law at a 3. 3. And that's me who runs this program and built everything I built. I would rate myself and our organization. Myself, I'd rate higher. Organizationally, a 3.
So now I'll make a statement. Calgary Law, your company, is losing an incredible amount of money because you're not consistently following up with the folks that already know who you are, that have already done business with you, because you're not top of mind.
Yeah.
They don't know who you are.
Agreed.
And we're solving for that problem. We're following up with all of the folks that you need to for you, so you don't have to.
Awesome.
That's what I'm doing.
So how would people, if people want to talk to Deepak about this, how do they talk to you? And by the way, let me just be clear, because we have innovated in the huddle format a bit. And here's what we're innovating too. 3 days a week, we're going to have guests. And it's not a sales fest. And this is not a sales fest for Deepak. This is something incredible and brilliant he's up to. We're teaching content, doing things. But if great people come on, they're up to something, we're certainly going to let them share how you can get in touch with them. We do that 3 days a week. 2 days a week, we're going to have nobody else on. We're going to be rounding into content. In addition, we're adding 2 quick things, and these are nonstop us optimizing. We're going to be adding a written letter from me a week, kind of all the trends I'm seeing. I have so many brilliant people I'm working with one-on-one and in groups at this point. Thank you. The huddles, all the collective feedback from ecosystem partners. So it's going to be a once a week letter, kind of summarizing all the things that we're saying in bits and pieces. And I'm going to do a quick summary video every week as well. And then our elite coaching mastery program folks, they're going to get their own unique letter and video as well every week. And those 2 things are being implemented post haste, like for next week. So that's my commitment, that we have all those out. So yeah, and just making sure people are not like, okay, so we're going to have people on every day. Because there's some people that prefer guests to be on. Some people prefer no guests on. Like, I get it. But the outcome here is to be the greatest way to start your day. And we're going to have variety of energies, impressions of other people. And we're serving everybody at the highest level collectively. So we can never do exactly what you want, because other people want something different. But the dynamic is how to make this amazing for people that want more money in less time with more magic. That's what we're doing here. I think a variety of beautiful guests like Andy and Deepak and Siobhan, all the other incredible people we had this week, Susan Hum, Teresa Witherspoon, Chris Robinson, etc. All the people's names I didn't mention as well. Having that variety is extraordinary. And then having days where we're like super focused on just content delivery, coming from my head and heart, Adams Fernando's, right? Critical. So Deepak, how do people find you?
Simple. Followupasaservice.com.
So followupasaservice.com. Met Deepak in the Tony Robbins world. It's a blessing, brother. It was one of my first contacts and friends. Had an amazing initial night, and I'm very grateful for you. We've had a lot of fun times, and it's just beginning, Deepak. Great job.
Right back at you, brother.
Thank you. Fernando, fun Friday, brother. What's fun for the weekend for you? Let's take this sucker home.
What's fun for the weekends for me is Bella, my niece, who's the love of my life, 13 years old, wants to curl my hair. So she's going to be curling my hair, and that's what's good. That's what's going to be happening. So on fun weekend Friday, I'm looking forward to curly hair. So There you go.
And we need a laugh track live like this. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is great. I love that. I'm really feeling that energy. Yeah.
Yes. So it is Fun Friday.